Here in Glasgow, Labour won all 6 of the city's seats from the SNP.
So the tide has turned in Wales, and not just for the bigger parties. Look beneath the surface and you'll also see a swell of support for reform in Wales. Not enough to claim any MPs this time, but they will have an eye on the Senedd elections just around the corner.
As the shockwaves of this election settle, there is much to consider. But with Sinn Féin in the top spot and the DUP bruised, calls for a conversation about an Irish unity referendum are likely to grow louder. Sarah Gervin, BBC News.
Even as Labour celebrates victory, there are still those it needs to win over. Anna Foster, BBC News, Leicester.
A radically recoloured political landscape now looks more green. Dan Johnson, BBC News, Bristol.
Let's pause for a moment, as in between the voting and results, the Wimbledon tournament carries on, and that's where we can head to get the weather with Gorsa. And thankfully, it looks like it's drying up.
Thank you, Riz. Yes, indeed, the sun is really trying to make a few brief appearances here at SW19. And play has started in the outside courts too after a delay to the play because of the rain. Now, luckily for Great Britain's Emma Raducanu, who's playing against Greece's Maria Sakkari, she'll be in centre court later this afternoon, most likely with the roof staying closed. But there is more rain in the forecast, I'm afraid.
Hello, such a wet start to the day today. There's been a lull since then, but it's getting wetter again over the next few hours. Some heavier bursts of rain out there. That breezy day, lighter winds on Sunday, but a greater chance of seeing some heavier and possibly thundery downpours by then. Well, there is at least one upside to the rainy weather, and that's the impact on pollen levels. So some relief this weekend as pollen is set to remain low. That's your weather and your pollen. You're up to date. Have a good weekend.
Well, it has been a very busy afternoon in this very famous street. A very wet evening here as well, as I'm sure you can see. But Sir Keir Starmer is behind the black door here in Downing Street right now. He's set to work immediately, appointing a new cabinet, the ministers to run the government departments. Chris Fawkes I spoke to soon. It is now raining yet again. This is July. Can you sort the weather out, please?
No, sadly I can't, Sophie. It does look like the rain's going to be here with us for some time yet to come. Mind you, it has been a slightly better day across northern portions of the UK. We've seen a bit of sunshine here in Flamborough and relatively calm seas. It won't look like this tomorrow, mind you.
Hi, a changing landscape indeed, Riz, and we were hoping to show you a bit more of it this evening, looking down over Guildford, but the rain has got other ideas, I'm afraid. Until this morning, every single constituency in Surrey was Conservative. Now, half of them, 6 constituencies, will have Liberal Democrat MPs, including here in Woking. There's no doubt the Liberal Democrats have redrawn the political map in this county.
Because in between voting and results, the Wimbledon tournament carries on, which is where we can join Corso for a check on the weather, which really hasn't been playing ball today. You only had to look at Tim and Victoria and Layla, and now you, in the rain.
Oh, Riz, it is pouring it down here, not just here, across much of the capital as well. Some heavy rain. You can see the dedicated few still behind Henman Hill with all the umbrellas up here. But it wasn't a complete washout today. We did have a good couple of hours of play on the outside courts this afternoon, but we're unlikely to see, well, I think they've made a decision now not to have any more play on those outside courts.